Okay, so I kind of just haven't played Hypixel Bridge for a year.
You serious?
So you're about to watch my first atrocious games back, and you will not believe how sweaty some of these games got, so yeah, enjoy. Okay, so the first game starts off with me spamming blocks, and then me and my opponent beat each other up, but only I live. I place 2 blocks and the guy hits me, and I build my way up, just like a man in the crippling death, followed by some simple bypassing, which leads me to get my first goal. Let's go. Wow, I can't believe I thought this would be a challenge, and as I thought, it could not get any easier. The guy just quit. Oh wait, that's our first win, I guess. And I don't think I'll ever get an easy game twice in a row. Anyways, this game also starts off by me spamming blocks, and the other guy just kind of falls off the map, and honestly right now I do not think he's that skilled. But then he starts railing me in PvP as I say, no, and you know it's getting serious when I say no. And then this guy starts winging on me and dodges my arrow, and then I go for the stupidest race known to humanity. Okay, well that wasn't very smart for me. So at this point I'm thinking this guy is actually very good and I'm just trying to score 1 goal so my ego's okay. And then he decides to rudely shoot me and stab me to death? Young man, that is not very nice. And he then has the audacity to spam blocks? Now that's unacceptable. But then he unexpectedly double block extends? Yeah damn, that's some crazy skill. And then he just does some simple bypassing. And he does not have his goal? Wait, I do not remember that. Huh? Now I finally get back on the bridge, only to realize that he's made his own little bypass system and is being a little mole. So now I'm trying to dig him out, you know? But it didn't really go to plan. Not good. Are you kidding me? So off we go again. I charge in a blind rage whilst my opponent decides to pull a 100,000 IQ play by putting up this little pillar behind him. He then proceeds to peacefully shoot me and then calmly send me to Mars? Whoa, who let this guy combo me so hard? Anyways, I decide to go for an absolutely mental race here, but as usual, I perish. Bruh. Meanwhile, my opponent is surely gonna get a goal here, and here he comes. Anyways, he then comes to engage in some more combat, and he peacefully shoots me and stabs me once again. Man, what is going on here? Now he gaps whilst I finally decide that it's time to put on some pressure. And now starts the revenge arc. Oh no! What the hell was that? So now I construct a plan in my head involving scoring 5 goals and winning, but contrary to popular belief, my plan does not involve dying. However, here I finally actually managed to prevent him from scoring. Wow, I'm such a god, I know. Now here as usual I get put in a bow combo and get cooked immediately. Wow, this game is starting to get really repetitive now, isn't it? And what do you know, the exact same thing happens again, but this time I actually survive and my opponent dies. I start madly wall running hoping to score a goal, and I try to eat, but unfortunately my pressure doesn't last very long. Since my opponent decides to stupidly void late, I have time to re-establish my pressure, and maybe this time I can finally get a goal. And as I walk closer I can see he voids to try and stop me, but at this point I know it's too late for him, and I'm in. And his pre-bow managed to shave my head, but it didn't hit me. All good. Now here somehow I managed to pull a crazy juke on this guy and send him falling down to the tunnel system. The void. Well, now we engage in some pretty messy PvP where I by some miracle come out on top, and just as with everything, all good things must come to an end. And now this little weirdo drops down and goes back into his little tunnel system to be a little mole again. Damn, I swear this guy just plays bridge to lose his dignity. Anyways, after switching sides for a bit, I realised that I probably should have gone for the race and I might have even gotten the point, but at this point I know it's too late because I know he's already got his eyes fixed on my goal. And then I have an unfortunate little moment costing me another goal. And gosh, the score is now 3-1 to my opponent. I gotta step my game up.
Damn!
Bruh.
I'm rusty AF, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, after telling this guy my literal weakness, I decide that it's a good idea to go in for the same kind of PvP, where I get bow comboed and sent to death. Again, I charge in madly, but this time, as my opponent drops, I think it's about time we do a race. And what do you know, this time we succeed, let's go. But my pressure doesn't end there, because as he voids I expertly wall run towards his side, switch sides, catch him off guard, put him in a little combo, and boom, never mind. And honestly, I can't even lie, this game is starting to get really boring now, because the same thing just keeps happening. I mean, I keep rushing in, and then I keep getting killed by the guy by putting me in a bow combo. Like, man, chill out. Now, as I respawn, I see how my opponent jumps down, and I go for a really dumb race, so I have to assume that he's gonna mess up here, and thankfully, he does. I fall onto an old pile of blocks, jump off, and for once clutch, and then I realize that I am in. And at this point, who knows how the rest of this game can go? Maybe I can actually clutch it. And now guess how this PvP encounter is gonna go. Well, that was very expected. Now I'm gonna just shut up and let you watch the rest of this game. Okay, so to give you some context of this next duel, I had a viewer in my stream who wanted to, quote, teach me how to play, so we decided to duel, and this is how it went. And it's kind of becoming a tradition now that I start off every game by spamming blocks. And now after shooting me, my opponent proxies Fetag? What was his name, man? Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, he shoots me and then just rudely builds up as I try to bypass and pull the 1 million IQ play of falling in the void. And now we're heading towards each other like two charging bulls wanting to kill each other, both of us trying to get their first goal. Unfortunately, my death stories continue and another page is added to my book. And as we can see, our opponent Proxy Svetak is building some very nice head hitters and bypasses, which are going to be very useful for him actually, as you will see soon. I go for a race, but I immediately see my opponent respawn, so therefore I'm trying to absolutely spawn block the hell out of this guy, so that he can have nowhere to go. I tragically die, but we immediately head in for some more action. Well, wait, who wrote the script? We engage in PvP, I get blocks spammed in my face, you know, the classic stuff, and then we decide to mutually jump in the void. Truly the peak of Minecraft gaming skill. But now it's my turn to finally turn into a mole, however my moleness doesn't really last very long, you know. And now it's at this point that I realize both of us have not scored a single goal yet, which, you know, I guess that means that we both have an equal chance of winning the game, you know, maybe? I decided it's a good time to die, and not only do I die once, but let's just wait a minute. Here, we die again, and somehow our opponent, Proxy Svetak, manages to make an epic clutch here, like, sheesh. And, I don't even, ooh. So let's just say things aren't looking good for me. I'm 2 goals down and we're going in for the same kind of PvP again. And just look at this. I can't with this game, man. Why did I ever come back? And wow, this guy is just fisting me, like, disrespect, man. Hey, but I think the conclusion we have from Hypixel The Bridge is that it's a very burnout game and it's just overrun with sweats. If you ever want to see more of The Bridge, then just let me know. I'm not really in the mood for this, so goodbye, have a nice day. And yeah, by the way, I lost this game 5-1. Okay, anyway, bye.